let's talk about what we're going to cover today. First, we're going to talk about hit that. All right. Now we're going to talk about the different kinds of content that you'd want to include in efforts to maximize engagement. We're going to want to inspire you with some ideas for your social posts, email, text messages, etc., and discover how we can save time by repurposing content in multiple channels. Again, channels are going to be email, social, text, etc. Let's kick it off with the first types of content to include in your efforts to maximize engagement. So one thing I said at the top, which is that a lot of organizations, forgive me if you're already doing this, but a lot of organizations tend to solely use digital marketing to promote. That is their knee jerk. We've got this event, we have a donation need, we have a product to sell, let's get it out there, get out there, get out there. What we suggest is breaking this up into different tranches. 50%, majority of your digital marketing should be tied to, I'm going to kind of simplify it, fluff, entertainment, right? Stuff that's not overtly selling your product, not overtly promoting your nonprofit, something that's entertaining, lighthearted, something that is going to be relatable. Remember, human beings buy things from human beings donate money to human beings. The more you can humanize your organization, the more you're going to be able to stay top of mind. But we also need to think about human behavior, right? If all an organization does is scream product, donate, people are going to tune you out. Again, because of that buying cycle, right? They may not be ready to take action, and if all you're doing is promoting something they can't take advantage of right now, then we're forcing them to tune us out. Also, we need to think about things like text, like social media, and even email, where there is a entertainment value to following things on that on those tools. I'll share an example. I just thought of this. It's almost guaranteed every morning that my wife and I, over a cup of coffee, just share cat videos to each other off of Instagram, just constantly, or TikTok, just like showing these cat videos, right? The entertaining, right? It's entertaining. That is a vehicle partially for entertainment, social media, right? And so you want to think through that. You want to have, I said fluff, there's a lot of people go, oh, that doesn't have anything to do with our business. No, you do need to think that through. Even if you're a B2B, you need to have something that's going to hook people that is engaging, like entertainment. 30% of your digital marketing should be offering education, something of use. Something is going to relate to tips and tricks and best practices and thought leadership. Only 20% of your overall digital marketing strategy should be actually promoting what you're trying to promote. And the idea of that is that those are at that clock, and they're at that 11:55 p.m. and 12 o'clock is when they decide they're going to buy. That's who you're doing that for, right? You're pushing them the rest of the way. For the others, that 20% is going to slowly move them around that clock. So one thing you'll want to do, if it's not obvious, is plan ahead. Pull out your calendar. Make sure you're thinking these things through. This kind of strategy, while not hard, does require some planning, right? You want to sit there with your calendar and think, okay, what are we going to say this week? Do leverage holidays. So as holidays roll around, how can you leverage the holiday to be entertaining or to be informative, to educate, or even to promote? I also want to make sure that you are thinking through how you might reuse or repurpose content that you have. If you've developed something for your blog, put it in your email. If you've developed something for your email, share it on social. You put something on social, share it in a text. Repurpose your content. It doesn't always have to be fresh and new. Now, one more complicated strategy you can employ is giving people bits and pieces of a story. Start something in an email and end it in social. Start something on social and encourage people to go to the blog to find more. Like having almost, I like to think of it as a wagon wheel, right? These spokes of the wagon wheel, and all the content is going to flow around the edge of that wagon wheel. Social being one part of that hub, email being another, blogs being another, your website being another, social SMS being another. Tell little pieces of your story instead of putting all your eggs in one basket and saying it all in an email or all on social media. But that's a little more advanced. So now let's talk about the different kinds of content that you might be using. So one thing in terms of entertainment is making sure you humanize your organization, right? It doesn't always have to be a super serious piece of content. I'll share an example from one of the Constant Contact partners, Zing Pop Social, Tracy Lee Davis, who's also very active here on Alignable. She's a real expert. She shared this post about candy corn. What does that have to do? She is a marketer, right? She helps small businesses and nonprofits market their business, right? What does candy corn have to do with anything? Well, she's staying top of mind by entertaining people. And this is actually a really smart post because strangely enough, candy corn is a very divisive issue, but it's not divisive in the sense of like, national news type divisiveness. It's a kind of fun divisive issue. Some people love candy corn, some people hate them. But what she's actually doing is she's keeping her brand top of mind. But especially because this is a social media post, she's encouraging people to share their opinion. She's encouraging them to type out their response, and it starts a dialogue back and forth. Now, the benefit to that is that one, she's gauging how interested the audience is in this, again, fluffy kind of content. But she's also changing the algorithm rules so that when people comment, they're telling Facebook, yeah, I want to know more about this, or telling Instagram, I want to know more about this. And future content of hers is going to show up. And when she comes to that 20% where she's promoting her business, not only is she staying top of mind, but she's actually being visible because people engaged with her through fluff like this. When she is sharing a promotion, when she is selling her product, they're there. They're noticing it because they've interacted with her. So what are the kind of things that you can do for this entertainment concept? Well, again, fun things, right? You might also want to play off of things that are going on that are not controversial in the world, especially sports, things of that nature could be a way to engage people. I often see Final Four stuff or stuff around the Masters or things that are not going to alienate people, but that they can engage with. Also, give them a behind the scenes of your organization. Show them fun stuff that your staff's doing, fun stuff that you're doing. Again, it doesn't always have to be stodgy and serious. Share your morning routine or relatable mistakes, things that you've done wrong that aren't going to make you look less impactful, but share some of the things, the hard lessons that you've learned. In terms of giving your personality, I want to zero in on this post from Constant Contact on the left, because when I saw it come through Instagram, I actually saw it come through Instagram Live. I had nothing to do with this post, but it tickled me because this is a perfect example of entertainment, of fluff. Constant Contact sells digital marketing tools, right? What does this skeleton have to do with something as serious as digital marketing for small businesses and nonprofits? And yet it was very, very engaging, right? We've all had that experience of coming back to the office after a long holiday, right? So it was a way to relate to the audience, sharing something that probably we all feel, and it got a lot of engagement. You want to keep it really light, really simple, not be too formal. Try to be as relatable as possible. So let me share with you 3 other examples of posts like this. So again, Tracy with Zing Pop Social and Alignable power user. She shared this post about National Cheese Day, National Cheese Lovers Day, which I cannot believe. I both cannot believe and also believe that there's a National Cheese Lovers Day. But she shared this post again. She's not in the cheese industry. She doesn't have a client that sells cheese. She was just trying to be relatable, right? So she's talking about a current event, staying topical, very lighthearted, National Cheese Lovers Day. But she was tying it into also simultaneously promoting herself, because she does do events with the Women's Networking Alliance. So she's kind of double dipping and sharing her thought leadership and what she does while also being lighthearted. Gabriella Hunt, the middle one, she's a photographer, right? And she shared this fun picture of her son playing in the snow. It's a great way to just engage people, because where she lives, it was snowy, and it was a way to relate to her audience. And then my favorite one is this garage door, this dog, and it's talking about their brand new supervisor, on the job. Obviously, the dog is not the supervisor, right? But one, a large part of the world loves dogs, and it's a way to relate to them. Most people love animals. It's a great way to relate to people. It's humanizing. If we think about a garage door company, right? That is not the most fluffy, feel good type industry in the world. Forgive me if you work for a garage door company. But what is relatable is the dog, right? So it's keeping people top of mind. Now, do I suggest that Tracy and Gabrielle and the door company, do I suggest they do this nonstop? No. It's going to be a large part of their engagement strategy. What we're trying to do is humanize the organization. We're trying to be relatable. We're trying to stay top of mind, and we're encouraging people to interact with it. If I solely share something that's promotional, one, that is going to be only relatable to the people that need that right now, that are able to make a donation right now. The rest of the audience, I'm giving them no reason to actually pull the type on their keyboards, move their mouse around, and actually engage with me. I'm not actually encouraging that. Promotion has a place, but you want to have a strategy where you're trying to humanize and be real. Next is going to be educational. Let's talk about ways that you can provide value to build trust. You want to be helpful. In the end, you just want to be helpful. So things you can do is pay attention to the questions your customers ask, right? So if you're getting phone calls and people are asking how to do this, how to do that, then answer it, of course, on the phone, but then they're giving you content ideas, right? If you're hearing frequently asked questions, convert that into a social media post, convert that into an email article, certainly answer that question on your website. They're handing you a gift when they're asking you questions. And they're actually telling you a little bit about yourself in the sense of maybe if you're not clearly answering that question in your marketing, then you might want to think through, okay, people are coming to me with this common issue. Maybe I can turn that into a service, or maybe I need to address that more overtly in my marketing. Also provide resources, right? So people love to get guides and checklists, have video content or consume video content. You are an expert, right? You are your expert. You know what you offer and what you do, hopefully better than anybody else. Lead by example. Don't be afraid to give some of your knowledge away. Give those tips, give those suggestions. One example I like to share is restaurants, right? So some of the best digital marketers in the restaurant vertical will share recipes. Now, they won't share the recipe for their number one most popular dish, but they will share recipes. Why? Because they're giving a little bit to get more back, right? Give a little bit of that insight. Be that helpful guide to people. Show that you can be a trustworthy organization so that when they are ready to do something, they're thinking of you first and they trust you. Here's 3 examples from those a couple of different organizations. The Garage Door Company and Zing Pop Social, and then of course Constant Contact. So we can see Zing Pop Social, she was talking about a common digital marketing issue, right? So now we're moving into that educational. It's not fluff. She's talking about something that actually she can help people with, right? But it's a common issue, and she's addressing this common question, this common problem. Garage Door, what they did is they talked about ways to modernize your garage, right? They don't sell garage organization, but it's relatable to what they sell and do, right? I know that my garage is a hot mess, and I would love to learn some tips on how to have it more organized. I want to look at developing content that is relatable to your industry. It doesn't always have to be specifically when we talk about education about what you sell and what you do. It needs to be tangential to what you sell, or can be tangential to what you say and do. And Constant Contact does this all the time. We highlight hints and tips nonstop. And sometimes those hints and tips have nothing per se directly to do with what Constant Contact sells or offers. But we know contextually this is useful to a small business base or a nonprofit base, or sometimes we even verticalize it. So we will talk about issues and concerns and give tips and advice to real estate agents or to business, right? We will break it up by vertical or by type. Lastly, the one that you most likely have been focused on the most is promotion. Promotion has a part to play. You just want to be very strategic in how you promote through email, social, SMS, and beyond. Make sure that you keep the content you create, no matter where you're creating it for, as simple as possible. With attention spans being what they are, you don't want to throw too much information at people at once. You need to make sure it's digestible. You need to focus on what the benefit is. The benefit of what you're offering needs to be identifiable immediately. You want to give them some way to take action. Too often, I have taught small businesses and nonprofits who come to me and they show me their marketing, where they talk about the benefit of their product, they talk about the benefit of donating, but ironically, they don't give them any way to do that. That's not really helping us. You want to give them a way to actually take the action that you're asking them or wanting them to take. And you want to make sure that you share engagement, right? So you want to be active in replying to replies and trying to get those likes on social media. You want to be actively involved when people are connecting to you through social. Now, if that's all exhausting, like Matt, you just told me I have to develop like 10 other kinds of things. I hear you. You can use other people's content, right? It doesn't always have to be you. So one thing to think through is what other content is out there that you can reuse, right? Could it be a testimonial from a client? Could it be content from a sister organization or some other thought leader in your industry? Making sure you bring that kind of stuff in, but also be mindful of bringing in the voice of your customer, bringing in the voice of the audience that you serve as a nonprofit. have that kind of content in because it's immediately more trustworthy when it's coming from somebody else. When it's coming from somebody else, it's not you just talking about yourself, it's them. And again, we're talking about promotions here. It's them talking about the benefits they receive by working with you or by using your tools or by using your service. Now, I touched this just a second ago, but let's get a little bit deeper. It doesn't always have to be your content. If we think about curating content, like the example I give, and maybe it's a little stupid, but a museum. You go to a museum, an art museum, right? They didn't create the content, but you still go. Why? Why? Because they curated the content, right? They pulled together things of related value, related concepts, especially in something like an exposition, and you're going to see it because they're the experts, right? Well, you can be the expert. It doesn't always have to be your content. So share industry news, share things that are going on in the community, share news that is going to be, or information that's going to be relatable to what you do, but it doesn't have to be written by you. Now, do I suggest every single social media post, every single email you send out, every single text you send out be written by some other organization? No, but it doesn't always have to be about you. And again, just like I talked about when I talked about having the voice of your customer, the voice of the people that you service in your nonprofit, it's a little bit more trustworthy. It's not you talking about you. You're willing to let people see other kinds of content. You're letting it's not just about you, and it actually reinforces the trust in you. Make sure, though, no matter what, that you always cite the original source. You always want to make sure that you're saying, hey, this is coming from this location. Now, the good news is with digital marketing, thanks to links, it's obvious that it came from somebody else because when they click the link, they go read that article or they go watch that video. But don't be afraid to let people go away from your website, go away from your email, go away from your social media posts to learn something that's going to be useful to them, and it's saving you some time and energy. So let's talk about repurposing content. If you're developing content for your email, why not share it on social media? If you're developing content for social media, why not share it in your email? You're sharing content for your email, why not share it in a text? And again, kind of use that wagon wheel concept of giving little pieces of the story around different channels. Here is an example Constant Contact did just a couple of years ago. So about a year ago, we started offering text marketing. So hopefully, we do email marketing, we do social media marketing, we do landing pages and a lot of other things. And now we offer text marketing. So we actually used a cross-channel approach, literally kind of the same theme, but you can see how on that wagon wheel we used each channel a little differently. So on social media, we put in something really engaging, right? We're talking about using text marketing for the small business. One, we wanted people to click buttons. We wanted them to interact, right? Help with those algorithms. Two, we actually learned something from this, right? Then in an email, we invited people to come to a webinar, right? We invited people to learn more about text marketing best practices, but also let people know, hey, we're doing text marketing. A perfect example, like we didn't just blast out, hey, Constant Contact has text marketing. We did that, but that was only 20% of our strategy. The rest was sharing education, sharing advice, best practices, things of that nature. And then we used text to drive timely interaction. Hey, the webinar is today. Make sure you attend. No matter what you do, no matter what strategy you employ, again, you want to plan ahead, but you also need to think through what are the kind of results I want to get from that. And so when it comes to social media, you want to be paying attention to the engagement rate. How much are people actually engaging with your content? Many small businesses. It is pollen season here in Florida, folks, and my throat is killing me. All right. You want to pay attention to how much are they engaging. So many small businesses and nonprofits solely just post to post, and you really want to have a strategy of people replying to your post, engaging with your post. How many people you're reaching? What are their demographics? What are their geographics, right? And you also want to be thinking through, okay, what is going to be the reach? How many people am I trying to reach here now? If it's not obvious already, Constant Contact has tools to help you do that. With email, you definitely want to be paying attention to the engagement there as well. If you've not heard this from me, I get on my soapbox about this. When it comes to email marketing, it's not the number of people that open the email. That is a full of false positives and false negatives. You want to pay attention to what people clicked on, because by paying attention to what people click on, you are learning not just proving that they got the email, they read the email. They're telling you specifically what they read. And by telling you specifically what they read, that's what you offer to them more in the future. You also want to pay attention to your growth. You want to be seeing your list growing, and you want to make sure you're employing tools that will help you grow your list. So make sure you're setting goals for yourself each campaign so that you can monitor the results. The old chestnut I like to use is that if I wanted to go up to the Mid-Atlantic to see my friend Randy, how would I know I achieved my goal? when I got to see Randy, right? You need to set a goal so that you know whether you've reached that goal or not. You may not reach that goal in terms of digital marketing, but that gives you some insight into how you need to pivot for the next campaign you do.